Welcome to the journey of discovering the world of lobster hunters in the vast ocean. Today, we will drift on the sea, following the brave fishermen to witness the process of catching lobsters from the mysterious cages to the moment of pulling up the extremely impressive trophy. Follow the video and discover the interesting things waiting ahead. And this is the moment when a long journey across the ocean begins. The ship leaves the dock, plunging into the big waves carrying the hopes, experiences, and passions of the fishermen at sea. The goal ahead is the challenging deep waters where giant lobsters lurk, waiting to be discovered. The journey is not easy, but with the sea in their hearts, they never give up. And then, the most awaited moment arrived. One by one, the traps began to be pulled up from the cold depths of the ocean. Inside were bright red lobsters, wriggling vigorously, signaling a bountiful catch. Nothing can compare to the feeling of seeing the results of hours of waiting. In the middle of the ocean, it all depends on experience and modern equipment. The captains are glued to the sounder screens, following the faint signals on the bottom, and then they find signs of a group of lobsters hiding. But there is not only hope, but also a warning. The area may have entangled nets. The risk of losing the trap is very high. Should we take a gamble, or wait for a safer opportunity? One decision, which can change the whole trip. The cage began to rise above the water, each drop of salty sea water spilling out as if signaling a result waiting to be revealed. The eyes of the entire boat were on it. Would the trap catch a big catch of lobsters? Or would it be another waste in the vast ocean? No one knew what would happen, until the cage swung on the deck, revealing bright red lobsters, the sign of a successful day's fishing. The newly pulled lobsters are not immediately put into the cold storage. Each one is carefully checked from size, weight to shell condition. Only those that meet the standards are kept. The rest are released back into the ocean to protect the long-term resource. This is not just a job, but also a responsibility to the ocean, to nature, and to the future of lobster fishing. And after so many hours of effort in the middle of the ocean, a happy signal has arrived. The worker waved to the captain as if to say, "Come and see the results." The container was now full of bright red lobsters, signaling a successful catch beyond expectations. The joy on the faces of the crew members could not be hidden, because amidst the storms, nothing is more precious than a moment of harvest like this. As the sun slowly rose above the horizon, the traps were lowered into the salty water. Each cage carried with it years of hope, calculation, and experience. A few hours later, the workers took their turn to pull the ripe cages back onto the deck. Inside was the sweet fruit, large, healthy lobsters, continuing to fill the containers ready for the next shipment to the mainland. The green plastic bucket was now filled with bright red lobsters, kicking and full of life. After hours of struggling with the wind and waves and pulling each trap, this was a worthy reward for the whole team. But the journey was not over yet. There were still traps lying deep on the seabed waiting to be pulled up. The atmosphere on board was more bustling. Everyone was eager for the next catch. In the clear blue waters of the vast ocean, unexpected friends appeared. A school of dolphins suddenly appeared. They swam gently around the boat, as if sending a mysterious signal from the sea. For experienced fishermen, this was not only a beautiful moment, but also a special sign. The big harvest is coming, and as expected, just a few seconds later, the first cages were pulled up, carrying large, vibrant lobsters. On deck, the work continues without stopping. Each lobster is passed from hand to hand, carefully inspected, and quickly placed in a basket or storage compartment. Without much need for words, everyone knows their role. In the vast ocean, what keeps the ship steady is not just the compass or the steering wheel, but the close coordination between people who share the same heartbeat, the heartbeat of the sea. Not everyone knows that to lift a lobster out of a trap, it takes more than strength. It requires dexterity, gentleness and experience so as not to injure either the person or the lobster. Every detail, every operation reflects the skill of those who live their lives with the sea. In those calloused hands, there is a whole traditional profession where people learn to understand and respect the ocean. And here it is, a trophy just brought up from the trap. The lobster's body is bright red, thorny, and full of scratches from the sea, a testament to the fierce vitality of the deep. The lobster is not only of economic value, but also the crystallization of time, patience, and adventurous moments in the ocean. Every time the cage is opened, hope is confirmed by wonderful creatures like this. After being carefully selected, the lobsters were placed in an oxygen tank, a crucial step in the preservation process. Each lobster is gently released into the water, continuing to swim in cool, oxygen-rich water, keeping them healthy and fresh as if they had just been caught. This is not just a technique, it is an appreciation for the fruits of labor and for each product that the ocean has to offer. Under the cold depths, the trap is slowly lowered, resting in the middle of the ocean. Inside is the carefully prepared bait. The scent spreads, attracting each lobster to come closer in the darkness. No rush, no noise. The trap works silently, efficiently, based on the ancient understanding of humans with the sea. And then, at the right moment, the cage is pulled up heavy, carrying the fruit from the ocean floor back to the surface. A new fishing cycle begins.
Oh, that one? That was a good one.
And when the lobsters are sorted and stored, the traps are immediately checked, baited, and prepared. Because in the sea, there is no time to rest. When one round of fishing ends, a new round begins. The hands are still working hard. The eyes are still looking far out to the ocean, where there are always opportunities, but also always full of challenges. As night falls and the sea sinks into silence, on deck, the work does not stop. The cages are loaded with bait. Every detail is checked to prepare for a new cycle. There are no spotlights, no applause, just the sound of the waves and the quiet, steady rhythm of hands working. This is the rhythm of life at sea, steady, steady, and full of determination. The whole basket of lobsters was lowered into the final tank, marking the end of a long day at sea. Each lobster was now safe in the tank, carefully cared for and preserved, ready for the next journey to the mainland. On the deck, dried salt stains, tired hands and weary eyes. But hidden within was a quiet joy. Another day had passed and the sea, once again, opened its arms to give. Before leaving the boat, each lobster is carefully selected once again. Only healthy, qualified individuals are kept ready for the journey to consumers. It is not just a fishing job, but also a commitment to quality, to reputation, and to the trust of those who have spent their lives at sea. The journey to sea is temporarily over, but the journey of the lobsters continues. The bright red lobsters, with bellies full of eggs, are proof that life continues to be nurtured in the depths of the ocean. Encountering them is precious, but not to keep, but to release. Because those who work in the sea understand clearly, if today we do not protect the source of life, tomorrow there will be nothing left to catch. Between immediate benefits and a sustainable future, they choose to preserve. Lobster fishing seemingly simple, but filled with knowledge, respect for nature, and responsibility for the future. Thank you for following this journey with us. If you find the video meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share it to motivate us to continue going out to sea and tell more real stories from the sea. See you again on the next trips.
Couple more hauls, we'll be done.
So Jeff is selling the majority of them, but lucky thing about today is